And now the Hansons and Hiatus podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It's another episode of Hansons on Hiatus, episode 43 to be exact. I am your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And we are back. Hello, 2024.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that jazz.
Yes.
But as usual, if you'd like to support the podcast, buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can also follow us on Spotify, Instagram, YouTube, all the other podcast platforms at Hansons on Hiatus. And as I said, buymeacoffee.com. You can buy us well, actually, technically, it's a beer.
Yeah.
You can set different things. So you can buy us a beer if you're enjoying the podcast. I wanted to thank Jenna, who had bought us 2 beers over the holidays.
Yes, thank
and
you.
Christina, who has bought us beers before, bought us 20 beers.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
thank you so much, Christina. We love drinking some beers,
Yes.
and thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jenna and Christina. That was a shocker over Christmas break.
Yes.
We're like 20 beers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think we drank them over Christmas
We
too.
may have, yeah. I think we did.
Yeah. So I believe last year,
Yes.
we were technically in Iowa at the time, and so we kind of told the story a few episodes ago, but we were supposed to be surprising my mom for Christmas.
Yes.
And
Couldn't have done it.
and Dad, if you're listening, we're not trying to come down on you.
Mark.
But the surprise got a little bit spoiled.
a little ruined. He got a little spooked. So
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
No.
He was just
Well,
being
for some things. But
Yes.
we'll get to those.
He was being, cautious. He was worried, so he got a little spooked and
Yeah, so he was worried that my mom was gonna go out of town for some reason the week before Christmas.
I think she mentioned like some shopping trip. Your mom will go
Yeah.
on shopping trips with her friends. They live by, Kansas City and Chicago and stuff are close, so they go for the weekends sometimes.
Right.
But he thought she was gonna leave the week before Christmas and go on this adventure or something.
When she had already gone on those trips with her friends. But I think she had mentioned going to Mexico, but that was at the beginning of December for his birthday.
Yes.
So yeah, I think he just got a little stressed with the holidays and stuff, and felt like he needed to tell my mom so she wouldn't plan any kind of trip or go out of town or whatever.
Right.
So then my mom was in on it. So we're like, all right, how do we do this surprise? Who else can we surprise? My brother. So my
Yes.
younger brother, Alex, and his girlfriend, Sarah, they live in West Des Moines. And so we're like, okay, we're going to surprise them.
Yes.
And so we're so that was kind of the plan. Like, we're going to surprise them. And so then I'm like, okay, well, let's do this good. Let's not just be like, hey, we're here. I was like, what can we do? So I had this idea. I was like, why don't I dress up like Santa Claus and surprise them that way somehow?
Yeah.
So, so we're trying to figure out how to do it. And my first thought was work, because I've surprised my mom at work maybe 2 different times.
Right.
And it's a little bit easier because you know where they're going to be and you can kind of control it a little bit better.
Yeah.
So like if you know their office, you know where they're going to be sitting, when they go to lunch, whatever. So that was kind of the first thought. But then I've never been to my brother's new office, and I don't really know how it's set up. And if they work for like a financial company, so
Yeah.
I don't know if there's security that I wouldn't be able to get in. And
I'm
yeah.
sure there's some lockdown situations. They're not just come on in, Santa, random Santa.
Yeah, and also we were getting in on a weekday, and so we figured they'd be working. But since we didn't know how the office was set up, we're like, okay, we gotta have a backup plan. But they don't want to do anything during the week because they're working,
Of
like
course,
so
we
it's
don't either.
it's hard to get them to go somewhere. But
Yeah.
there was this place called Smash Park in
Yes.
Des Moines.
How could I forget?
Yeah, and it's like maybe was it like 10 minutes from their house? I think it's very, or maybe 5 minutes. It's very close.
Very close.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, so here's the plan. We're gonna say my mom just had a Christmas party at her work. We're gonna say that she got this gift card to Smash Park, and they liked this place because my brother had taken me there before, so I kind of knew it. It's almost like it's like a Dave and Buster's basically.
Yeah.
Video games, beers, food, pool, whatever, or different cornhole, things like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm like, okay, this will be a good spot to do it. It's close to their house. My mom is just going to say, hey, I got this gift card over from the Christmas party. Do you mind meeting us up there? Because it has to be used by this day.
Yeah.
And
use it or we're gonna lose it.
Right. Yeah. And they're not the greatest at responding to text messages. So I was like telling them, I'm like, you guys got to start planning this now, like kind of putting it in their ear, like, hey, we'd love it if you could come meet up. But they got a little over texty, I think.
Yeah, I think you needed to explain, like, gently start, throwing this out there. Hey, what are you doing Tuesday? Hey, how about this? Let's confirm, down the line.
Exactly.
Not all in one go.
And so they sent a text message like a week ahead of time, and then I don't think they ever answered or anything. So when we get there, it's like the night before, and nobody has confirmed that they're going to come. Like, I got the Santa suit. My mom ordered me the Santa suit so I could surprise them and everything.
Yeah.
And so it's like the night before, and I was like, nobody has like spoken to them, and it's kind of like, well, I thought you talked to him. No, well, I thought you talked to him. And so we're like, oh no. So we're trying to get them to agree to come.
I think the issue with that is you're the planner of the family. You're usually the organizer. Hey, everyone's cool with this. This is what we're doing. I'll confirm. Let's go. So you weren't confirming with your brother and his girlfriend. They had to do it. So I think they were looking at you like, why don't you reach out? It's like, no, I'm the surpriser.
Yeah. Like, I literally cannot. So they finally agree, even though I think they maybe had texted them a little too much or given a little too much information.
Yeah. We have to go.
Yeah, I was like, we need you there. Just kidding. But no, it was working out great at that point. So they got them to agree to come. Mm-hmm. And so you and I and my parents drive over there maybe like an hour. We're like hour and a half ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we wanted to film this like surprise,
to check out the scene, like figure out where we're gonna sit, the best angles.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So we sit down at the bar and order beer, and I'm sitting there trying to figure out like what camera. I brought my GoPro, and we have like our phone cameras and everything. I'm like, where do we set it? And I was trying to. They were, bless their hearts. They were trying to be very helpful, but I don't think. I don't want to say the older generation, but I don't think. Like our parents and their parents' age are as that read into like surprises as well. Yeah. Because kids people like our generation and younger watch these pranks and surprises and stuff on YouTube and the internet and stuff. So they pick up on little things like where we were trying to figure out where to put the cameras. And I think my dad was like, oh, just put it in the ketchup holder thing right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, the second they come in, they're going to be like, why is there a camera in the ketchup holder?
Yeah.
Or your phone is in there or whatever. So it makes sense, like kind of, on paper, but to us, I'm like, my brother is, a couple of years younger than me. He watches all these YouTube videos and he's kind of a conspiracy guy a little bit. And so he's going to read right into that and say like something's going on. So there's all these things that you have to pay attention. And also working on the radio industry, we did a lot of events, we did a lot of pranks and things like that. So I kind of know how people react to certain situations in public.
You know what to watch out for. You know what's gonna like work and what's not gonna work. Also, too, their adrenaline is going. They're excited. They want to be part of the surprise. They are, and they want to help surprise them too. So they're not thinking, oh, Alex probably would see my giant iPhone sitting in the ketchup caddy, right at the end of the table. You just think like, oh, they're going to come in and not be paying attention and whatever, but they will. You're just sitting down with your parents to play some games and eat some food. So there's nothing, they're not excited or surprised.
Yeah. And so, I was going to be in the Santa suit. You were just going to be the person filming initially. Yeah. And so we were trying to figure out where to sit you at the bar, and we were trying to sit you over here. And then my dad's like, "Oh, I should go meet him at the door." And I was like, "No, that's not how like normal.
Let me walk you into the restaurant.
Normally, this would happen like if you were actually just meeting them for dinner. Right. You wouldn't walk them to the table or whatever." Right. So we're kind of like, we're sitting there for like 30 minutes trying to figure out how this is going to work. And I said, okay, this is what we'll do. You're going to sit at the bar, Alexis, and film like from your angle. Yeah. And then I'm going to, and when we walked into this place, all the kids were like, Santa.
Yes. Everybody's like, Santa. And it's like, I'm on a mission. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So I was thinking, okay, well, this business could have like a Santa, like Smash Park Santa or whatever for the kids to get pictures with and stuff. So I was like, I'll be just walking around taking pictures, and then I'll walk up to the table with my parents and my brother and his girlfriend and say, hey, I'm Smash Park Santa. Would you like a photo? And, and I had like a gift bag because we had a little Christmas ornament from from Mexico to give them. So
Yeah,
I thought
present.
in my head is like, I walk up, I do that, and then I'll talk to them for a second, and then I'll give them this gift, and they'll open it, and they'll see it's from Mexico, and then they'll like catch on or whatever.
They'll be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah. So, but the way I thought we could film it is, I was like, okay, so when I say, do you want a picture? Then my mom can go, yeah, let me get a picture of you guys. And instead of taking a picture, she'll hold her phone up, but be videotaping.
Yes.
And so then my dad's like, what do I do? And so I was like, well, she's going to be recording, but you could take a photo, when we ask, if you'd like, that always good, or not photo, but video. So it's always good to have two angles and two views. So like, okay, that's the plan.
Yes.
So they get there. And I'm in the other room. I'm like in the arcade. And while I'm sitting in the arcade, the two girls that work there come up to me and they're like, can we get a picture with you, Santa? And
You're
I was like,
go away, go
yeah,
away.
I was like, yeah, sure. Let's do it quick.
Get out of my way.
And
I'm at the bar waiting with my new friends.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm sitting there like with my hoodie up and my hair all fluffy.
Did you talk to some people at the bar?
Yeah, these guys were sitting next to me and I sat down with I had your Santa bell because you didn't want to jingle it around, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the Santa bell and all of them look at me. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I sit here? And they're like, what's with the bell? I'm like, oh, it's Santa's. They're like, all right. They were just looking at me like, we don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah. So I get it. And I said, text me like, okay, or something that says they're here from my parents.
Yes.
So they do. And so I wait a couple minutes and then I come out and I was going to come around the backside of them. But then I thought that would be like, they kind of like get startled or whatever. So I wanted them to see me coming. So I come around the other side of the table so they can see me. And I'm like, hey, I'm Smash Park Santa. And so I go up and I get between them and they go, oh, hey. Like it was like they knew almost immediately.
let's hear your Santa voice.
Oh, yeah. What did I say? I was like,
You're like,
oh, I'm Smash Park Santa.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is good. Okay.
Yeah, see, you kept on giving me shit about the Santa
I was just
voice.
like, if anyone's going to know your voice, it's going to be your brother.
Yeah.
So he's definitely going to
Totally.
know.
But, I sometimes have a little bit of a deeper voice and also wearing a beard over it.
Yeah.
By the way, Santa is not fun to fucking play. It's hot. I had these gloves on and I couldn't like text on my phone. I can't see anything. I just felt like I had a space helmet on. It was just like...
You really couldn't tell it's you.
And I couldn't hear because I got hair in my ears from the fucking mat or the wig or whatever.
Yeah. It was a very nice Santa costume. It came in an awesome box from Amazon, but the hair, the beard, everything was glorious.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
And my brother's girlfriend goes, I knew it. And I was like, my parents are like, oh, I'm sorry. We probably text too much or whatever. So then, I'm going and we got these videos. And so I'm going to edit the videos. And my dad was filming the entire time. Like when they walked up, he's like holding it down, trying to be like inconspicuous.
Yeah.
And you see after like a couple minutes, like my brother's girlfriend keeps glancing over at his camera. And then she goes, what are you doing over there, Mark?
Yeah.
And he's like, what? And she goes, why are you filming us? And my mom goes, Mark, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, sorry. Like he just accidentally filmed
I didn't know
everyone.
it was filming. I love the first like 2 minutes of your dad's video is just him and your mom talking. Like he just had it ready to go, ready to record for an hour.
Yeah. So what they said when they said, oh, I knew it. Like they told us they knew something was going on.
Yes.
But they didn't know what. But as soon as I came up and I don't know if they could hear my voice or they just knew something was up and it was like, oh, this is probably Nate coming up as Santa. But they said so it was obviously being filmed while they're walking up to the table and sitting there. Yeah. But they said one of the things was that when they go out to eat together, my parents usually pick them up. And I was like, oh shit, that's what gave it away?
Missed that one. Yeah. We were all sitting at the table and they're like, you usually pick us up for dinner. And they were both like, yeah, both your parents were just like, shoot.
Oh,
like,
didn't even think about that.
We were like, do you really pick them up before dinner? And they're like, yeah, usually. I don't know why we didn't think about it.
Oh my God. So it's harder than you think to pull off a surprise, but
for sure.
Especially with multiple people. If it was just me surprising everybody or you and I, it probably would have been easier.
Yeah.
But when there's a lot of different people with different ideas and working parts, it gets a little dicey. But it was great. They were surprised.
They were very
actually
surprised.
You probably surprised him more because
Yes.
my mom like quickly goes, yeah, well, Alexis didn't get to come. She went to Florida.
Yeah.
And they were
You're
like,
like,
oh. And then out of the back, you see you coming around. If you want to see, this is on our Instagram channel, so you can check that out. But yeah, you see you come around the back, and you're like, hey.
I just put my chin on Sarah's shoulder.
Yeah.
She was like, ah.
Well, and before I went to go hide this Christmas gift, I didn't think I'd be able to get it out of the bag with like my Santa gloves on.
Yeah.
So I put it on the table behind us where nobody was sitting. And then what happened?
Then, of course, people sat down, and I was thinking, like, they're not going to see it. It was in like a brown paper bag in the corner by like the ketchup caddy. So I'm sitting at the bar looking around, and then I go and do my surprise. And I was like, wait, where's the gift? And they're like, what do you mean? We look at the table and it's not there. And I'm like, there's a whole table full of people, like 6 people. And I'm like, I don't want to be rude. Like, what if the waitress took it? Oh no, we're like panicking. I'm like,
shit, where is
no.
it?
So then I look again and I'm like, hey ladies, there's like a few girls at the end. I'm like, did anyone find like a little present here? And they all look at me, and the one girl looks and goes, maybe. Is it like a prize for Santa? And I was like, well, actually, Santa is surprising his brother, and it's for him. And they were like, oh. She pulls it out of her jacket, like her puffy jacket, and goes, here, sorry. She was like, God. She took it. She like thought it. I know. She goes, I thought I saw Santa walking around, and I thought it was going to be one of those games, like if you find whatever at your table, like a number or a gift or something, like you get a special surprise. And she's like, I opened it and was like, what is this Santa from Mexico? Like, she's like, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, thank you for not stealing it.
Yeah, that was nice. Well, thank you to my parents for helping out with the surprise and hosting us and everything. So it was great.
It was fun, the Santa costume and everything. So we'll do something fun with it next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, well, what I wanted to do Christmas Eve was ride around my hometown on a bike, like a bicycle, and just have all the kids be like, Santa's riding a fucking bike around town. Santa ran out of gas, kiddies.
That would have been hilarious, but it was very cold.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, and then so like, what are some of the other things we did there? They had like all these pop-up Christmas bars, which we've missed. They don't really have those in Mexico.
Yeah.
I know in Atlanta we used to go to the one at Best End, and some other breweries would usually do like Christmas pop-up bars.
Yeah, it's whatever companies decided to start that. Genius. Let me come into your bar and make it look like Christmas threw up everywhere. And it is exactly that. It must take so much time to set it up, and I can't imagine breaking it down.
Yeah, it probably sucks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But so we went to this one at Exile Brewing, and it was called Snow Globe. Amazing. There were so many decorations. Amazing.
That place is great. Their beer and food. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
So we did this. I did my beer chug there the other weekend or other Friday. And I had my Cheers Fuckers sweater on that I got out of, my parents' attic that I had up in there.
Still had
it. And so it was funny because where I was doing my beer chug at, there was like a staircase and then the bathrooms, and people kept on walking by. So while I waited for a lull, and while I got in there and I was getting ready to do my chug, and y'all were playing like security.
Bouncer.
Yeah, like keeping people from going downstairs. And then somebody came out of the bathroom, and they were trying to walk by, and my dad goes, hang on, there's a beer chug going on.
Yeah. We're trying to do a beer chug. They're probably like, what?
Yeah, they're like, what are you talking about? It's so funny.
Everyone was really nice.
But then I went upstairs, and I didn't realize, even though it's a brewery, there's a shit ton of kids there.
Lots of kids.
And so I'm walking around with my light up, Cheers Fuckers, and it's like, it's flashing.
Like flashing.
I was like, ooh.
Every single kid looked at you like, what is that?
I don't know. Should I feel bad about that? Like, I don't want to push that on other people's kids, but also I'm at a brewery.
Yeah, we're at the adult venue. So if you bring your kids there, you need to explain to them what Cheers Fuckers means if they ask or don't. Yeah. That's on you.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then also we met up some friends, and for some reason in my hometown, there's like 15 fucking Mexican restaurants now.
There really is.
Yeah.
And they're all good.
Yeah, they really are. And so they were going to this one. They're like, yeah, we go here because there's a Mexican buffet. And I was like, a Mexican buffet?
Oh, excuse me?
I've never heard of that, at least not in the United States. But we get there, and sure enough, they have a buffet just like a pizza buffet, like they used to have at Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Like the
big buffet.
Yeah. And they had enchiladas and tacos, soft shell, hard shell. What else?
Cheese, sprinkly cheese, all the cheeses.
Taquitos, like just everything. Nachos. Yeah, it was great.
It was really good.
But when we got there, we didn't get really menus because our friends were already indulging.
Right.
And so we were like, how much is the buffet? And so we're thinking, I mean, it has to be like $20-$25 because, like a good like dinner plate at a Mexican restaurant's usually like $15. So I'm thinking, for an all you can eat, it's going to be more expensive.
For sure.
We asked the guy and he goes, oh, it's $13.99. And we're like, hell yeah, we'll do that.
We'll take 2.
Do you guys want, a beer? And so we're like, yeah, we'll get a Pacifico. We got liters. There's, like the big mugs.
Yeah.
And so we each got one of those because our friends were drinking those. And so we're eating the buffet.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finished those and we had another beer. So you and I each had 2 beers each.
Yeah.
And we get the bill and it's $76. And we're like, what the fuck?
What did we do?
Yeah. And I look at the breakdown. Those mugs of beer were $9.99. They were $10. We spent $40 on 2 beers each.
Rookies.
Yeah.
Leave Mexico, go back to the U.S. and get screwed.
Yeah. Oh, my God, right? Yeah.
We know better. We should have asked.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great deal if you just don't get a beer, apparently.
Great deal.
But, Jesus.
Or maybe smaller beers, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah. But even so, it's just like $10
yeah,
for a fucking beer?
Usually the draft beer are cheaper. That's like insane.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if they were liters. They were like 22 ounces or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't here like a litro.
Yeah, it was like, yeah. So I mean, they were bigger than just a 12 or 16 ounce, but for $10 for a Pacifico, like, come on, dude.
And we had just come from Mexico like a week or 2 before at like the soccer games and spending 69 pesos for a litro.
Yeah, so like
beer.
$3.5. It's like, come on.
I guess we should have known
Yeah,
better.
so after tip, we ended up spending fucking $84 for this $13.99 Mexican buffet. So now we know. I want to go back, but I ain't drinking there.
I ain't drinking the beer. I wonder how much those margaritas your friends had because they were huge, and then they brought them an even bigger one to share, like a freaking fish bowl.
Oh yeah, they were probably like $47.
Oh my God, probably.
Jeez.
It was we know this rule. No matter what country you're in now, ask the price of beer.
Yeah.
I don't care where you are.
I don't know why we didn't realize that, but I guess we just thought, it wasn't a nice, it used to be called Happy Chef. It used to be a fucking pizza place. So it's not like it's this fancy, like new age, mixology place or something.
I think if the buffet's $13.99, like beers are gonna be $5-$6 or maybe less.
Well, now we know why it's $13.99. They make it up on drinks.
Yes, they screw you on the beers.
Yeah. So in my family, we do this like tradition where we all wear the same shirts. We had these shirts made that say Hanson Family Christmas.
Yes.
And when the first year we did it was in Florida, and they were just T-shirts, just gray T-shirts, and it had like the
looks like the Christmas Vacation, like National Lampoon's kind of logo, but you changed it to Hansons instead of
so
Griswold.
We had those made a couple years ago. Well, one of them we ordered was green. They sent us the wrong one. It was green, my brother's, and so we had to get a new one that was gray. Yeah. But then when we did Christmas in Mexico, we had some Hanson Familia shirts made. They were tank tops with like Santa on the beach and everything. So we brought both of those shirts back. And when we were opening presents, we're like, oh, we got to wear our Christmas shirts like we always do.
Let's all put our Hanson Family Christmas shirts on. And
yeah. So my brother and his girlfriend could not find theirs for some reason.
I know. They just moved, so things are still like, being unboxed.
Right. And they, when we were opening presents, they go, or my brother says, yeah, so this is the only thing I could find that was Christmassy until I found this green shirt. And I said, what? And he goes, my underwear. And I was like, what underwear are you wearing? And he pulls them down and he's wearing Christmas underwear. And I look and I was like, I wonder what underwear I'm wearing. Pull mine down. Same fucking underwear.
I love that you had to look because you weren't certain what underwear you had.
Well, I have like a couple different Christmas undies that I wear because actually in 2018 this already happened. We were wearing the same fucking underwear.
Yes,
again.
you guys are very matchy.
Yeah, so we're underwear twinsies.
I think so. Your mom gets them for you guys, right? Or
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. That's probably what's happened in the past, but we just happen to be wearing the same undies.
Hilarious. Beautiful Christmas Eve night. The family's on the floor all opening Christmas presents, and Nate and Alex are showing each other their butts.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. So, so it was a great Christmas. We had Christmas at my parents' house this year because My grandma is in like is it assisted living? Yeah, okay, yeah. It's like assisted
so
living.
she's like on her own, but they're there to like,
Yeah, she has like her own apartment, but there's people there or whatnot. Yeah. So we did it at my parents' house, and so we had the whole family over, got to see all my cousins and their babies.
It was great. Like, come to us.
Yeah. It was very nice. So so that was nice. But then when we got back to Mexico, we did New Year's.
Yep.
We did New Year's Eve, and we were trying to figure out what to do. Initially, we had planned with our friends Marlos and Jorge just to come over to our place, and we were just gonna have some drinks on the roof and hang out and do whatever. But then we started hearing in like the town square that they were going to do this drone show.
Yeah.
Like instead of doing fireworks this year, they're going to do this drone show. So we're like, oh, that's going to be fucking awesome. Yeah.
And every year for the holidays, they've Playa's, stepped it up a little bit. There's more like fireworks or more drones or more this or more that, or, so we're like, oh, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah. So we were like, oh, let's do that. And then when we talked to our friends, when we got back into town, they were like, oh, you don't want to like just go up to the roof and do the thing, up there or whatever. Yeah. And we're like, yeah, I mean, I guess we could. And we weren't like dead set on, because where the drone show is going to be, it was thousands of people.
Packed.
I mean, it's any holiday. That's what it's always like. So I'm like, I know we're going to have to fight the crowd, but we want it because we didn't think we'd be able to see it because it's, I mean, what is it, like 20 blocks or something? I mean, it's quite a ways.
Yeah.
It's like a 20-minute walk. So,
yeah,
however
we do have a good view, but it was, we were concerned we wouldn't be able to see them like at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're like, all right, we don't have to. We'll play it by ear. So we had our friends over. We went and got a beer at the beer club, and then we went over to Freaky Tiki, got some food, and a couple drinks there, and then we went back to our place, and we're like, all right, we're just gonna start, making some drinks. We had some appetizers, and let's go up to the roof. And also, if you saw any of our videos, and you might have seen this when we've done it in the years past, I guess that there's this Mexican tradition at midnight. You eat 12 grapes in 12 seconds, and each grape represents a wish for each month of the year for the coming year, right, if I'm understanding that correctly.
So instead of counting down from 10, they count down from 12 here. So then you're like, grape.
Yeah. So you're just like shoveling fucking grapes. I think at the end I just like put the whole cup in my mouth because I was trying to film at the same time, and so it just wasn't working.
I think I made one wish and ate like 10 grapes maybe and lost a couple. I don't know.
Yeah. Your wish was you ate less grapes.
Yes. I was like, they're popping out everywhere and whatever.
Yeah. And so we're up on the roof, and if you've seen any of my videos before, we have like a cool rooftop pool and like kind of deck area where you can see the whole city.
Yeah, it's a great view.
Yeah, and when it struck midnight, all these fireworks just start boom, just going off everywhere. It kind of looked like at the end of Fight Club when the buildings are coming down all around or whatever. That's what it felt like. There was just like fireworks everywhere. It was crazy.
It was amazing. We were all just spinning around in circles like, look at there, the Hyatt's doing this. What's that, north of 5th? Like, it was just everywhere. It was amazing.
Yeah, and we could kind of see the drone show, actually, but it was from the side, so we couldn't see what it was like spelling out or designed.
We watched them, like, go up, and then you could see them moving around, but you couldn't tell, like, what it was.
Yeah. I'm glad we stayed at our place.
Yes.
Because that was an awesome experience, and we saw the videos of the drone show, and it looked like the penmanship was about a 4-year-old. It said, like, Union and family or familia, and it was just squiggly. It was not done very well.
Something happened.
Yeah, I think maybe it was windy down there by the pier or something.
Probably windy. Probably maybe somebody wasn't up to the task. I don't know. Yeah. Whoever was leading the thing, something happened.
It was fine. It would have been fine to see like from our rooftop if we were a little bit closer, but I would have been pissed if I was down there waiting for hours for that.
Yeah, and also we saw all the videos and pictures. The crowds were massive.
Yeah,
it was bigger than Halloween or Day of the Dead or Independence Day, like any of them. It was packed. I'm really glad we didn't go down there because I would have been like, nope, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So and then lastly, I didn't realize this, and I saw it on one of the expat group, or no, one of the locals groups on Facebook. And they have this this holiday on December 28th, and it's like, I think it's Innocence Day. What's it called? Holy Innocence Day. And the message I was seeing is like, don't believe anything today. It's Innocence Day or whatever. So when I was kind of reading a little bit about it on these groups, I was like, oh, okay, so it's like April Fools.
Yeah.
Like they put out these different pranks, like, oh, Black Eyed Peas are coming to play in Playa, or something like that. Things that aren't going to happen. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. It's kind of like, April Fools.
Yeah.
So just before we started recording this episode, I thought I probably should read up on it a little bit and make sure I understand it a little bit more.
For sure.
So little shocked when I first read what it is. Holy Innocents' Day, observed on December 28th. The day commemorates the execution of the innocent male children in Bethlehem, told by Matthew 2:16.
Oh, dear.
And I was like, how did this turn into April Fools from a bunch of babies being slaughtered in Bethlehem?
Bethlehem, Jesus.
Yeah. But then I go on to read a little bit more, and it says, on this day, it is customary to give the youngest child in the household the power to rule the day.
Ooh.
From what to eat, where to go, what to do, the youngest child is in charge.
Oh.
And in Mexico, it is a day for children to play practical jokes and pranks on their elders. So that's where it comes in.
It's like
but
back at you.
yeah. But yeah, so I'd never heard of Holy Innocents' Day, but I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's cute.
Other than it being like a terrible start to a holiday.
Right. It's like there was a bad situation, but we made it better for you.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes. All right. Well, I think we should get out of here. I think we might have a couple more stories for next week. So
We'll save them.
Yeah, we'll save them for then. But as usual, if you'd like to support the podcast, buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. Again, wanted to thank Christina, who brought us 20 beers over the holidays.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Christina. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You're the winner.
Yeah. And follow the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, all the other podcast platforms. Hansons on Hiatus. But hope you guys have a great, safe rest of your weekend. Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.